Daniel Domelevo former Auditor-General ene okopiem wonhyire fa na kwadwo janto akodi nko abusua ensem odetu dwano ano ohye ye de ho sem ebremu hye no se high pump so me ameli pacha okeleke subscribe button mu sie we are not turning on the notification man say the drop video bia onsa ebetumi aka video nya wo hwere fa odin kire ku comment section honum the only said Daniel Domelevo former Auditor-General okopiem wonhyire fa na kwadwo janto akotwetwe nkomo ona odetu dwa say number 1 Ghana no say emra no in fact o describe me say stupid say Argentina president ewie na mamu a agi say or 3 years e betumi edna kokot anya sa 3 years ne pon ho a yetumi na hwe o se samra no oni panifo anya adwene na o BLASTS na AKUFFO-Addo o kasa no anya senkoto akura o se galamse fight no so His Excellency John Dramani Mahama de pa o wie no ono ne enkomo bi a oni Mahama ekoto dwa say Mahama afili Ghana fo akodi tabetuma si Ghana nim say no ani ose Mahama enso agituma president e kasa se no kire no enti ho se ne bebre ose corruption no ekwa betima fight corruption no odi na odi ho se atudwa menyi esam ne kayen kohwe Daniel Domelevo full video nyabotere na tie full video nya yo wi abatina ase we na de odi ntwe comment section wono no like no hye ama bisu ana bia hwe former Auditor-General Daniel Domelevo
enye ye menua SCSM accountability starts from the very top. Enti Ghana nso nye the only country ye wo oman amanye wo asase so doso pa na wo hwe aman bebre wo hono ma they hold the president accountable no ma bebre wo ho a Akufo-Addo aya na se wutumi hu se oka ho bi na etimi siye nso se eja no ti said ye wo ken se owura Mahama bra wo firi abamu yes wayese so obia anyhow holding accountable for the same thing. Rolling time Ghana there were issues and Akoya said there's an unwritten law on corruption in Ghana say we o mampania wutimi fa ohudi enso so emrakuni ne wo mamu enkyere say the emrakuni ne wo mamu kyere say that is constitutional kyere say what so ye omampania then we cannot hold you criminally or civil liable. The civil liability and criminal liable cannot be instituted against you in any court when you are still the president. Namum say who free idea so you bet me out so anytime because say infamy and some between and says you say afiba ku yasu enche bia na afiba akoko na kan fie mienu yan so Akufo-Addo mu a that is all. Says you say in some now wokan about President Mahama no we ya ho hwe ya enye ye because ofri abamu no ebro 3 years and sana osamba and this year no the constitution enjoined us not to touch him.
But is that not excuse my word a stupid law when you are
extremely stupid utie lawyer for mega just a crime has no expiry date for you and me crime has no expiry date but we are mampeni dia our expiry date 3 years enye nkwasiasem sabi mpese mercy obi kwasia but me giri say samra na ya hihye no fakwam namum emfakwam mpo no akonya da ho a nka every na kosi 3 years after Nana Adudankwa Akufo-Addo ofri abamu no yetimi di ko gina assembly bia ese yesika na odi ko see a national cathedral no bebre amfa kwamu kira no sky train awusu woye a whole lot of things awusu woye na wo mampo etimi enya big contract every abamu no a conflict of interest under article 284. The public officer should not put him or herself into a position where his or her interests conflict with the office. Into what media abensika ema unkwada se mfagogo ye juma etwe yi anase ntwe yi sa akwenya no anhwe no so ba betwe mako afina lawyer for aka kire en say constitution ma ho kwan bi say mfie miensa so.
I don't know say bia constitutional review committee ne ehia say omeshiawo nebia sa issue ya ba would you want to perhaps revisit say sa law na ya dia tum from JJ Breso say we free so mfie miensa pɛ a yenim sɛ wokɔ abrochira Nicolas Sarkozy ade na okoye no ebe 2007 ho baabi o yesi den kyese enye ne kra be 10-15 years ago bi a yesi yesusu se kofo bi na nkema ne sika for campaign da no yetimi ama na ekwa akodem 5 years. Would you propose say sir there will kind in your words extremely stupid law no yensesemu na ye man it say we are president na ubedi dwirima yemfa timeline to so time bia will be sorry who say Nana Akufo-Addo odi sika John Mahama odi sika no yebetimi atwe aso
sa akwanya no ba me de beto manim na me kenzo so me de nsem bebre ato manim me nim se o bedi hu adwuma we nyina ka ho nka kire say it doesn't sound reasonable to me. Sir, the 3 million Ghanaians would boni and say if you commit a crime, the law says there's no expiry date. But a few umunya kwan be ye mampenyin de obetime di boni bia ope se niti ye na se ofri so na mfie miensa ya franco si ango jira asem dibia inde je se wonya ne wa adi enya asema Thomasum ina nsem bebre ina me no mabobọ so na owura kwesi prempa oti dwomu emangrofo menene kasapa nti we asema yedi hu nkomo.
Right, I'll be glad we the eba mani beje pa the issue of galamsey so ya de
megasi ya de Yenti megasi ya de ne say galamsey any corruption no akwet say sabiu wo nana jantoa wujina bucket mu anase basket mu anase bucket na yesi ma honso anase lift yourself up with the bucket. It is your weight which is keeping the bucket down. So I don't know how you are going to lift yourself. Atumfo ne akitechi a omo bo oman ediafa galamsey so no omo na yesa hwe omanimu nti se nyame adom na omo yo madwin se afedi o masakra se ye ka galamsey asem na eye na ebi enhyeda entiase papa omo de anibire nyina akosua eye nuanum mrantie ne mabawa omo hye efom ho etutututu agudie no omo nkwana ya yeni ehwe omo ya ne yewre free e ho se ye misa se excavators no why na import back omamu omo hye office omo hye coat air condition room e won kran any kumase bisa ho se cyanide any mercury na se for omo the process gold no why enekra ediba omamu mi ji se okonwure mo okohu kwara na obisa ho se mercury ehi na free a ebi kura nim akwa e fa so eba omamu nti atumfo na ketechie ena hye ase nti se ye betimi ayama yaso galamsey ya no a eye pa se abande asojafo ena asefo akonwure mo epam nkwara no eye onchi omo empam wona yenso eninte nso so be hia nso se atumfo ne aketechi a omo hye akire no yema ye niko omo so se would cyanide record no ye ko customs a ye be hu se mfie be du anase mfie be enum a etwem koi wo na najantoa wo de cyanide anase mercury be so many tons eba kroimu ese o cheche mujuma odi se ye die no akira ye betimi anya the actual corporates ebe so ano because se excavator emabio na mercury ni ho na se for wonsan kan minyi se galamsey na betimi akoso min kirase nia omode ye legal mining no eno so member but we can trace it. There was something we call audit trail from the import to the receiver to the distributing chain. You betimi atrace ni na say ebi emu 50% and 60% ena yedidi juma papa ena ni aka no ene the boy ye dey say ye man no ese ye so no ano eso no kuzi se yenso any bete enya sa ye nyina bewu so me no ni na aduane a wudi enso a wonom na sefo na heavy metals ewo ndi eku ye ho ndi ji se aban eye na adwen se emfa ho se woye opposition emfa ho se uka maban ho mi nsaka nko ade a me no bedi se yanye ne sa which is the same system I'm talking about. But Ghana no Kronubia announce Bonibia it depend upon say we are politician kwandia ubone no ubetimi da ubetimi akuni pampo wa ohwa say ukaya ebinuma wu na no kora na de amanyosem say kono sade a enye ye menua
John Mahama obetimi to corruption ase
very easy kura ubetimi atu na akwantu a na njisha audit to kwemu no eye pa ebetimi abrek corruption ase but wo menhwehwe mu no akakra akade bi ho no ma enim na se yemfasa akade na nka ho a menyini se obetimi aye amana eye if you say corruption no enya de obetimi dis etuo ni sikan akọ fight no wo de mra ena fight no nti menhihye wo madwem no ye won hihye ba ko mienu bi a ese ede to kwam one the proof reverse burden or what we call unexplained wealth and hihye bi wo emremu a se ekoba se me marketia 20,000 bosome nti se afimunyi na marketia be 240,000 na ma ejuma 1 year ye behwe na me wo 20 million edam account mu a et me as summit me chekire mu kwa me fa so nya sa 20 million no na se mantimi anchire mu dia nti se mabokro no that is the reverse burden. The accused must prove how I got that wealth. Samrane eni Ghana kakra bi na wo Ghana minga se eni Ghana kra but kitu abi o so we article 286 clause 4 as it say if you declare your assets and your subsequent declaration the increase in wealth is not in tandem with your income or gift or any other known sources of income, then you have acquired that asset contrary to the constitution. That is the unexplainable wealth. And I was called Money Laundering Act, Section 1, Subsection 3 in Zoswa. As this occupy what do you call it? YOCO, that is Economic and Organized Crime Office. Investigate you on money laundering. Na se wo japade bia ye de tu uketua na se for ho a enko a nje se you are guilty of money laundering. And no na me say as say ye biemu we have to expand it to all corruption related cases because corruption wo hui obi ani ho a omu wia abansika e wo bedwam enti se obi akwakokum nipa anaso wabo krono ne achi no okejetia na we de mpanyufo akukudam o madwu dopa e na ebo ye krono nti se obenya om edne nti se wo aketua 10 cedis na 10,000 na afimu total income 120 na mumu 10 million e da accounts mu a enough to tell us say we kromfo agi se uchire yen se bia udi loto ana say o papa bi ana say o abushe ni bi wi no de japade jaw na ene de ye ti ase nti sa law no eni Ghana sesia nti say ye court na say police ni ana say prosecutor ene be prove say Daniel 10 million na e dan account mu owia ya edin pa nti enye easy eno ye 1 2 what we say obi bo krono anase owia amoman sika krono America na corruption o memfre corruption theft nti obi ewia aban sika na yɛde ne kɔgyina court a wonim sɛ asɛm no yɛni ma ne enwie ntɛm.
Yeah.
Ebi a fie bebree, ebi a 4 years 7 years ne yɛda so ɛyɛ nti akorɔmfoɔ no wɔn ne wɔn lɔyafoɔ ahyehyɛ a anaso adwe a yɛ na ɛwɔ mu etiri mu ne sɛ wɔn bɛtwe asɛn mu tan wɔn bɛtwe ne saa kɔsi sɛ aban bɛsesa wote yɛ a nansen yɛn nkyɛn bia na ɛti sɛ nolly prosecutor aban sɛ ɔnyɛ interested in some cases anymore nti ɛno nso so mesrɛ sɛ ɛsɛ sɛ yɛ mmara ɛde time ɛto ho sɛ yɛ try corruption case a ebia afe aburu so a afe anaasɛ aburu so a 9 months wokae nansen yɛ former agric minister ɛwɔ China ɔgye bribe any corrupt practices totaling about $38 million.
Right.
Almost sentencing to death. Now that trial now ended up in death. No, it was done in only 3 months. Busum yansa. Sechana for any busum yansa na yede yabon yentimi nyan ntem kura. And the man who busum nsian. And I said busum nkrompo ana afi. But Ghana, you pay the chase. A friend saying so. A buying son, just a assembly so assistant. Now, I could see the
That's interesting.
A friend so say, who say, who clean a friend say, who prepare and so every damn one. Whom we tap and see so. Now, won't go so paper. Who close to tap no first, me boy. So if you want to wipe the room, you don't keep the tap on. You must close the tap. One of the institutions I bet me are buying power or memo internal auditors. Because one more year professionals to say external auditors, but one more year 24/7 they are in the MDs and I say abajuma friends baby I abajuma be a woman.
Yeah.
And sana ubetwesi kan woman nti ye woman independent of the spending officers nka ebeboa minim sɛ wɔn bi nso so bia na wɔn nyɛ correct there but minyi ni sɛ wɔn na nyɛ correct nti ka ɛno nso so bɛboa yɛn ama yɛn hu sɛ sɛsi adeɛ internal auditors wɔn sɛ ebi bɛka sɛ auditor general deɛ ameke ɔno ɔba at the end of the year satam na ɛsidi dada
but ɛno na
auditor general again. Yeah.
Senior, and another person was say, for example, the alleged corruption na ye can one say me for national service dear Abdul Hanan buffer stock ne ada you know. Obeti so no transfer sike free hand and free bank and ha and the question is nti ade ntimi emfa auditors and internal auditors no enka ho because minim say aban adwuma answer na abenya 1,000 Ghana cedis mpo no. Bra be bra atwea fa boa ansa na wonsa aka na no na me ne Dr. B di nkomo kwa me nkroma suapon mu no say or per laptop no kura in 20,000 kona bra ne hwan ne wo so sign ko a enso so obete no ne say kwa brani timi $78 million watimi a transfer free bank akọ na accounts mu ana obi adi 600 million Ghana cedis na yenhu. The question is yati de oye panyino na auditor ne wo mu sign no eno ne mra no kase yen fom nka wana
wo mi na ka ho na ena me kan midi kan ne say Ghana ko say yen fight against corruption politically led entinia yehwe ne na jantoa ntisi yen saka no kwa de a aka ho nyina omanfa mu ho adi internal auditors, the directors, the storekeepers, the bankers. Asa nana jantwa uko bank sisi yasa uko 200,000 Ghana cedis. Minim say ube answer questions pa.
Echeze bi ekra na mebu afu.
So one more there a tomu pastoral utie investigation and standing to brand ko etom ko. Just say obi ewo bank ho a no so kan we say ekokodoa no. Na internal auditor ye fano director or approve ye fano opinion ye request ye fano procurement officer or share han ema ekoso ye fa no yes saw mu nyina bomu a ena na asantefo aka bibi se dua enya wa ba wo no ye ntwa so me bo a
yetu ase
yetu ese yetu ase ye ntu esan se ye dia amanyo se mu ntino ye twa so ni aba se boy se bo se maye because ye twa so
then in that case na say Yerajo Mahama nso you can say crocro the John na every say I'm expecting say Attorney General ebetimi ehun say national service case yi enye gift to ware nkwa ne OCSB auditors internal bankers wan hwan mu nyina yedimudi aba. That is what we are expecting, but akwa say ye be na gift to ware ba gift to ware say yampa obi na Simon no but yen share dante sa name no emfree Attorney General enumu say yedomu nyina account other than they are okay politically exposed people ya ye kan ho asem yana
nukre akwa say crime no you need that only the politically exposed persons or a minister now minister nso kura say minister in the previous regime or in opposition or a government official in opposition or previous regime onon kwan aban esika no ekwan ya bie ni ho a we can be of protocol mesa etiso me say without the collaboration of the public servant the politician cannot take much from the public funds. If the public servant does not collaborate because me say aban account be o horma minister nkwan signature and that's all because etiamra nti se minister mpo esan I just say obi so sign
yeah
and I check no kura and na minister few and na ne botum e wo accountant office there say for check no bra chro check bra na ye pese ye ko yisika se na unim se sika no emfa kwa mu a adenti na wo de ko he ansana ye nru honso so no na everyone saying mpanyimfo a wo adwuma mu obi a certify unim payment voucher
PV
ata payment voucher no so a signatures a guso nyagoro be say 15 20 we approve now we are recommend now we approve akronfo nkwa ye pese ye tuasia ese ye hwehwe mu nyina echi wo mu bomu edi onko gina asendibia no na beba manfo aye ahweyi
finally na menim se woko menim se Rajo Mahama ema in any case mo amutie madarma ye ne Yera Daniel Domelevo ono former Auditor-General and member of Oral Committee any former Auditor General Yera Daniel Domelevo on extensively on corruption, education and other stuff Iguswa and any so far me ati say corruption fight no as I grow ni edi you bet me ayi current one now amaya boss wa me hu ni say ye kase panyi bia disika obi ne sign man no ntinke achi ani achi omu nyina bom we bo wanze achi esorofo ne ketwa bi na de onu wia no de bi obeguso awia na obo amankofo e na o che se omomu wo ho eye internal auditors accountant na sefo eso omumomu wia na emomu nso pe bia didie omu so be force but senior finally mpesem busa ebia Yerajo Mahama na sese ono nso wasachira says o say corruption no ono no de no esobete anaso obetu ase ba ye won krofo bi omo nso bre ye yi sikade ye campaign ene nyina anim say political financing no obi a woni interest say mi nkoyi sika 10 billion emma wo meye prr na wo ma mi position wi a wa ba be ka tem say mintimi nya akwanya enya sika na no ye kan say Elvis Anchor every year or can you say the reality is that omo sponsor ye no omo we interest into the nipa no me di misika amount 70 billion one na say for aba now be catch them me say eja isa na pa say John Mahama e dey a wo de be hew eja wo kofie kra be hew na yen ya bre no e wo se enyi esika wo enti yera John Mahama person solve corruption ne nkrofo atwa no ho asie yi omo nso was attitude na yera John Mahama enya yidie ebefa
asem no odi abaye o asem pa no we wakobot because yen corruption ne far by na your political financing because wutie ya almost ansana obetima be MP no sika obehia e dey campaign nyagro na president de ebro adwene entiase so na obi de sa $20 million ana say 100 million Ghana cedis ema na say oba ba mu a obetumi ahwe ne sa anu ye no eye 2 metumi aka say an e na dabi na mechechire mu say sa democracy is not limited to Ghana and it's not limited to only Africa. Party financing is a worldwide problem. It's not only in Ghana and it's not only in Africa. The challenge is that how we address our financiers is the problem. How we address our financiers. If you go to the US and you go to the UK, etc., I can authoritatively say that they also do party financing. But how do they repay their financiers? The same public procurement process here. So they can award you a contract to say, do dollars Accra to Tamale. So when you profit 1% there, so 1% is more than enough to cover how much you spend on the party. And our approach in Ghana, no any problem. It is if you actually provide the service and you make profit out of it, that profit or the margin is what you are supposed to use to compensate yourself. And yes, when you may be an assistant crata amount, said, ura yourself for muye. Now, ye trace come out. Auditors, if a Juma muye browse would be a national security issue. Oh, and to say yes, sir, no. Me kana obi ka kire me emi o meeting bi ase outside Accra Ghana me ntumi nkire baby a meeting no na me kobo ase mi so na obi ka kire me say sa 1 or 2% na America no eno na ye di adwuma wo Africa na 98% no yaje ahye ebotom ntina on my own cost no and it is just the mindset and the methodology or the approach. Because obieni wa or a business onya profit. And the contractors are big pushy. They are all going to make profit out of their job. And the juma mo now ye jumano now unya emu profit editia sa finance in a car and hardly the problem ne say ye buy ya near tamsika near the amount unye juma bianso near the amount. Any problem no?
Interesting.
So political financing is a challenge. But the way we address it in Ghana is the problem. It's not that we cannot satisfy. In fact, I keep arguing that the two are not mutually exclusive. The two are mutually inclusive. You can satisfy your investors whilst providing quality service to your people. Value for money. Because see a distance a Kwambe never so SC KNUST and a Kwame Nkrumah University a war baby away. Everybody will tell you that the estimate is between A plus this or minus that. A range and yet fixed amount. And see a chair sikana say within the range any problem. But yendia ye say university na yensi yes it is scanning ama oniano. And any problem. Is the methodology or the approach and the mindset.
Finally, Yera John Mahama or your concern say sa corruption yi KCC konanse na miridi bibi kakra free Burkina Faso soja ban bae no nyoma bi wo ho a watimi agege aboa o man no omu minerals ne nyoma bebre or you aware with the data that suggests say they say Ghana youth no dodo na be prefer say we be 10 mu be 3B 4B kase the enyoma ekono yinya soja ban ba ebe boa is that a concern to President John Dramani Mahama? I say or no de by say Mahama is the hope. Say ye betimi enya a certain John Mahama on me yet say na no de na oye no. Nemum obefri so by 2028 no. Ni enya John Mahama na breso corruption eso teye ema sikadie ni sikawia no eso teye ana.
Minia we de omampanyin onfa ncheme. Menini edi nkomo bi na meka. But menini permission say meka. But onfa ncheme misre na menini di nkomo bi encheye. Ina me di tu na anim say ohwe ekwan a Ghana for efaso agigi Burkina president Emra Oban is sharing in no ohwe ekwan Ghanaians area as against all other democratic leaders omuba empu yanti omunka enye se bone ebo mudi anka enim se omuba empu a nje se Ghanaians are looking for leadership not democracy into onwe ye no my democracy what means leadership. And me saying so reminding you say minister for I think environment I've made definitely the one who told Nana Addo Dankwa in parliament say you have taught us how not to govern. Me can catch and say yes Nana Addo, and I have no doubt with that say Nana Addo Dankwa AKUFFO-Addo has shown us how not to govern, but it is for him His Excellency John Mahama to show us how to govern. And yes, idea. Now we're here, Yamo. When him and you are not the mammy. Okay, me say on the one you when him says, oh, Feli Ghana for Enchebia Kubesi.
Wow.
Enche on one kind. If you know the bio, say Enchebia Ghana for because to say Ghana for any a Bugabu Ghana as a military approach. Normal content them as for Ghana for any Joe. And this odi Ghana for Yamwa. Enchebia Kubesi. Nani oka ka ho a elu nwanwa kra ni say o si se sa ku nu sia wo mu former presidency na ye be chi omi na ko foreign squad asutu o mako
wow
ono na kan osandi to aso say Rollins any atames de omuti ya omawu nti omu de oma for mu hwe
there's a car ono ne kofo ne Nana Akufo-Addo
osi wo omuti ase ni de onyini se omefa omu hwedi nti megini se onimpa se ofeli oman ya nsunsuanso a beba oman mu no enye papa nti megini se obeye
mate Yera Daniel Domelevo.
Enti former Auditor-General Daniel Domelevo na bushafo te ne kano me say video enjoy pan dia leave you adwen kire comment section won wo wi a no wa like na wa share ama obi so anya bi ahwe yes any madi share mu bi hi pampa so media subscribe channel ma mi share wi na wa turn on the notification bell say do video bi a unsa ebeka yera masi